Spring has come, and it's becoming summer, and it is time to celebrate the opening up of the world and its beauty. And what better place to do that than the New York Botanical Gardens? All right, today we're going to the Botanical Gardens. Why? Because it's finally spring, and we're going to see what springs at the Botanical Gardens. We went to its winter, as I made a video, and now we're going to see some of the highlights of the spring season. The Rose Garden, the Azalea Garden, the Peonies, and I'm going to throw in one other because I'm going to figure that out once we're going. So let's go and see some of the garden because it's in full bloom. Lush grass, full trees, brilliant and stunning flowers. And one of my favorite things to see in the spring is the Botanical Gardens Rose Garden. Another one of the places to go to in the Botanical Gardens is the Abigail Rockefeller Rose Garden. I'm telling you, you think a rose is just a rose, or a rose is a rose by any other name, or something like that. But you know what? There's more than just one rose. So if you have a rose, you got to learn a lot of names that don't matter. But the flowers, they smell good, and they're very pretty, as you can tell. And there are a lot of roses of many colors. And some of them are quite new. I thought roses were old. I didn't think you could just invent a rose, but apparently you can. And then you have to come up with the rose's name. How is that a name for a rose? And who comes up with these names? Are there standard guidelines? Do they have committees? But then again, as we've said, a rose by any other name would smell just as sweet and look just as good. Maybe roses shouldn't even have a name. Or if they do, they should have names that rotate, like calling a person Bob one day and then Phil the next. Then I went to the Edible Academy. It's the Botanical Garden's new area where they grow herbs and things you can eat. One of the unique little spots in the Botanical Garden is the Edible Garden. And this is where they grow food, not food, but lettuce and spices. And spices apparently thrive in sunlight. And also, they have a summer camp program where children will get their plot and grow things, food, items. So, educational, nutritional, and aesthetically pleasing. Look at all these herbs. They have sage, thyme, mint apple, white mint peppermint, marjoram, and lavender, which is a flowering plant in the mint family. Who knew? They grow stuff from countries from all around the world. And during the summer, small children come and get their own plot of soil to grow things on. That's pretty fantastic. Then I stopped by the peonies, the tree peonies. And I'm telling you, the tree peonies, they weren't ready. They aren't. They bloom a little later in the season. So we're either going to come back or we're just going to look at things that look like green shrubs. It's a beautiful green shrub, but as soon as the peonies flowers on the tree peonies are to bloom, then it'll be spectacular. Alas, nature, it's all about timing. Just like comedy, timing. Just like flowers, timing. Just like time, timing. And poor peonies, it's not their time. See, there's no flowers, but there's a bud. And you know what they say, when there's a bud, it ain't a dud. That's a little garden humor for you. However, the intersectional peonies are quite lively. In fact, they're blooming. Now, I'm not quite sure why. That's why I come to the garden. Now, if there was someone here who had a sign that says, I'm an intersectional peonies expert, ask me a question, well, you know what? They'd be sitting here for about 30 or 40 minutes. But to suffice it to say, we can probably go on Google. But why don't we just enjoy the flowers? Because that's what they're here for. We're supposed to look at them, see their beauty, and kind of wonder in awe how something like this could exist in a world. It does. And that's why one of the reasons you come to the garden is just to see plain, beautiful flowers. And these intersectional peonies are quite beautiful. Look at that flower. Are you going to tell me that's not a beautiful flower? If you do, them's fighting words. And then I stopped by the Azalea Garden. I walked its path and really didn't see any azaleas. But I'm apparently in the Azalea Garden and I can't find a single azalea. I see a lot of other plants, that are, on the ground and flowers. But is this like a Where's Waldo type garden? Like, where's the azaleas? I'm going to go a little further and see if I can find some. Okay, I did see some azaleas and some hybrid azaleas. All right, I did find a few. One was an azalea and one was a hybrid azalea, which I'm going to count as an azalea for their sake, but they're awfully crafty. Now, they may be crafty because nature is crafty. We don't know everything about nature. We don't barely know anything about nature. So if I can't find an azalea in an azalea garden, maybe that's a moral that the botanical garden is trying to teach me and therefore teach us. Clever garden, clever nature. Because I was a little confused by the azalea garden, I stopped by a nice reflecting pool that had a little waterfall and a duck on it, and I was able to center myself so I could go home relaxed. Okay, the reflecting pond and the little waterfall and the ducks, they calmed my nerves down after the azalea problem. And I think the moral of the story is always see something at a place that will make you calm. Now I can truly say it was a great day at the garden. You should come as well, and thank you kindly.